Welcome to It Takes Two. I'm Blair.
I'm Chris.
And today we'll be talking about Married at First Sight, Season 18, Episode 7.
Look, we got a lot to get into this episode, and I'm going to try to get us out of here in 45 minutes. But first, we are also reviewing The Later Daters on Netflix. Check that out. Subscribe, like, share, comment. We're so close to 4,000 subscribers. Thank you. Blair, you ready?
I'm ready.
Come on.
MM and Eachi slept in the same bed last night.
Mm-hmm.
He tells her that he does not live a luxurious life, and he doesn't want her to think he's down bad when she sees his apartment.
Okay. Listen here. Don't try to beat me to the punch. Let me call your apartment bad if I see it, okay?
Yes. Madison didn't come back to the shared apartment last night. She went to her own home. She went to dinner with her friends, hung out, had some drinks. She said her friend was having a hard time, so she ended up bringing them back to her spot. They chilled out, and she is back with Allan the next day. He tells her that he went to the gym. He was looking forward to seeing her, but he understands that she has to be there for her family and friends. He tells her that, don't feel away or think that there's anything negative about you missing out on the first night.
Yeah.
Madison says that she does have a lot of nights where she spends it with her friends, and that's really not out of the norm for her.
Okay.
Allan tells her the only time he would probably have an issue is if she was going to spend the night at a guy's house.
Oh.
But he tells her that they are going to take the hoopty to see his spot, but she doesn't quite know what the hoopty means. So he explains it to her.
It's so interesting because while I was off getting married, your friends did not need me. While I was on vacation, your friends didn't need me. But right when I get back, somehow, some way, my friends needed me. That's why I needed to stay out and basically had them over to the house. First of all, she said, which I don't like. I don't like people who don't stay to their word. She said, I'll be back.
Yeah.
By 12 or 1 or whatever. And then she calls and let him know at 12 or 1 or text him and say, hey, sorry, I won't be able to make it. I'm just going to go home with some friends. At this time, Allan don't have no idea where she lives.
Right.
So how can he verify that, for one, that she's home with her girlfriends, or that she's not at another guy's house?
True.
What is your thoughts on this, Blair?
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of Madison deciding not to come back. I wasn't really a fan of her even deciding to go out the first night.
Facts.
I wish that Allan would be a little bit more honest about how he feels about the situation. He is bothered that she didn't stay the first night, and he's sitting here telling her, like, don't worry about it. It's not a huge deal and all this type of stuff. Well, if it was a huge deal, you wouldn't be bringing it up.
And you wouldn't have told us last episode.
Right. I think that he's just trying to go along to get along because he knows they're already on rocky footing.
Yeah.
So he doesn't want her to completely pull out from the situation. But I think that's doing a disservice. I think that she already considers you somewhat of a pushover.
Yeah.
So be honest about how you feel and see how she reacts. So
100% facts. And just to add just a small part, it's psychological warfare that she's doing on him. Okay. Or that most of these women are doing on these men on these show. To where I give you a goal that you have to obtain, that you have to reach for, that you have to achieve. So that's why Allan is so timid, because she already listed a whole bunch of things that she don't like about him, and he just don't want to add to the list. Yeah. So I'll just be cool with the first night after my friend died. You get what I'm saying? Being alone. But you can go be with your friends, because I don't want to add more to the list of things you don't like about me. Right. It's all about power.
So we move on to Juan and Carla.
Yeah.
They are going to see her storage.
Oh, house.
So her lease was up.
Oh.
And she knew she was going through this process to get married. So she didn't feel like it really made sense for her to get a new space or to re-up her lease.
Stop right there. You're homeless. like I don't care how you try to spend it, right? You're homeless. And this is weird, because how do you even know that you gonna stay married?
Right.
Like, so that's why I'm like, this was weird. Going to a storage, it is what it is, though.
But we see that she has some sound bowls. She had a pot with some dirt in it. She likes that Juan is fun-loving, but she feels like he can't have fun all the time. She would like to see a more calm version of him.
What are your thoughts on this, if you have any at this moment?
Yeah, I think that Carla, she really does lean into the manifestation, spiritual type of side.
Yeah.
And I just assumed, I don't know if it's right or not, but I assumed that she is manifesting this relationship and that it'll work.
Yeah.
So that's why she didn't decide to have a place to live, because I think she really thinks that she is going to make a space or move into a space with her partner.
Yeah.
As we get further along in the episode, she talks about how she has had issues as far as moving in with a partner in the past and them creating space for her. So I kind of wondered why Carla would allow herself to be in that same type of situation to where she has to rely on the other person to take her in instead of her having something already situated for herself and maybe coming to find something new that they could create together. So I understand why she would get the storage space, but I feel like she's putting herself back into a situation that she probably didn't have the best luck in before. So
good eye, Blair. I can't say it any better than what you just did.
Thanks. All right, we move on to David and Michelle. Pastor Cal and Dr. Pia arrive.
This is the scene of the night. I need y'all to rock with me on this scene right here.
David finds her attractive, and Michelle says that it's nice to hear.
Yeah.
She was vague on the physical, but then she was bombarded on things that she would not like in a partner. The whole cigarettes, living in the basement. She also doesn't think it's fair that he changes himself for her.
Okay.
David said that he would change himself for the better if it meant that they could be together and it would be better for the both of them. Michelle discusses success and how she wanted somebody successful who was confident, who met her lifestyle.
Yeah.
And Dr. Pia reminds her of a conversation they had to where she said that as long as her husband is willing to move out and to start anew with her, then she would be okay with the fact that he lived at home.
Okay.
Her story has changed. Michelle says that at 38, she is not attracted to someone who lives at home.
Yeah.
She's asking for reasons why, and he's kind of giving her why not.
Yeah.
She probably wouldn't talk to him if they met on the street, and she doesn't understand his reasoning for being at home.
Okay.
So Pastor Cal asks him what is his reasoning for living at home, and he tells them it made sense financially, and he's barely home because of his work schedule.
Okay.
He has the stability to move. He has the stability to move out, so that's not an issue. Michelle gets what he's saying, but it's still not attractive to her.
That's fair.
She worked to get to where she is, and she wanted someone who was an equal. Pastor Cal says, well, you think him staying home means that he's being taken care of. And Michelle had higher expectations, and she's mad at herself for not verbalizing those. She also had high hopes for this marriage. The experts asked if she's giving up already, and Michelle feels herself mentally checked out, but she's still here. She still considers herself to be trying.
Yeah.
David says that it's difficult to understand what she is receptive to. He tried to help her like with the door or with bags or with groceries, but she's always saying she's got it. She doesn't need his help.
Yeah.
Michelle felt that was smothering at first. And Dr. Pia asked her, when is the last time you actually felt cared for in a relationship? She mentions a relationship about 7 years ago, but it's been so long. Pia says that you haven't felt safe or cared for years. Maybe you are afraid to get comfortable with being cared for. And, she also feels like Michelle is being hard on herself.
Okay.
Michelle says that she is hard on herself to get to where she wants to be. And Cal says that, you could have standards for yourself, but you don't necessarily need to apply those same standards to somebody else. Michelle discusses how they have different views on success. Hers is more financial, whereas David's is more about home, mental stability, health, and family.
Okay.
Michelle makes a comment that now I sound like a money bee.
A little bit.
But she hasn't actually spent the time to think about what success means to her beyond financial. Pia says, we're hearing a lot of surface level of maybe you can spend time thinking about what success means to you.
Yeah.
A lot of what you're thinking and doing sounds like it's based on fear. Michelle says that, she can see that, and she will try to put her actions behind thinking a little bit deeper and trying things differently, but some days she just doesn't want to.
Yeah.
And Pastor Cal asks her, so are there days that you don't want to go to work? She says yes, but she gets paid for it. So that's what she has to do. And Pastor Cal says, so you do the things that you could see a value out of. So she does agree that she does see value with David. He's thoughtful. He's kind. So she will try to put the work in.
Yeah.
David also acknowledges that he sees her trying. She has been honest with him from day one. He'd rather hear it than not.
Yeah.
Michelle knows that it will be a lot. She's kind of tearing up, out of fear and anxiety, and she's afraid of the unknown and about losing control.
Yeah.
Pia tells her that you don't have to carry all this by yourself. You have a strong man who wants to help you. Okay, so my opinion on the situation, Michelle, it's weird because she's honest about what she doesn't like, but apparently she wasn't honest in the process about what she'd be willing to work through.
Okay.
And I think that Michelle, which we've seen, is that once she gets turned off, she's completely turned off, and it's hard for her to move in a positive direction if she feels negatively.
Yeah.
I hope that she will start moving in a positive direction and will try a little bit more. Her just being there doesn't just mean she's trying to be. It
That's
just
fair.
means you're here and you have a steak attitude. So I'm glad that Pastor Cal and Dr. Pia came to kind of remind her of the things that she said she would be open to, and to kind of push her to actually make more of an effort.
Yeah.
And when it comes to David, it seems like he just wants to be a good partner, and he wants to know what to do in order to help the situation. And honestly, that's the best and only route he could take right now. I would prefer that he give her a little bit of her own medicine, but that would not help the situation.
Wow.
So.
My wife was a great swimmer. When I say great swimmer, right? Could have went to the Olympics, but she said, what are goals? What are dreams? I'll just marry Chris. You get what I'm saying? Right? You would say swimming, most people or a good number of people don't know how to swim, right? And when you don't know how to swim, it's hard when you don't know how to swim. Even if you know how to swim, it's hard. You got to have stamina and things like that. You build that up. Blair, yes or no? If I was to put a blindfold on you and put weights on your ankle, would it make swimming harder?
Yeah.
Right. So we would say that marrying somebody at first sight is hard enough, right?
Right.
And we would say that marrying someone who you did not pick from my questionnaire that you gave me makes it harder, right?
Yeah.
If I was to say, Blair, who are the villains of Married at First Sight? You would say what?
Michelle and Madison.
And I would say, okay, that's fair for you to say. But I say it every season. The villains of the show are
the experts.
Dr. Pia, Dr. Kyle.
Pastor.
Oh, Pastor Kyle, sorry. And Dr. Pepper, right? When we saw that flashback of Dr. Pia saying, hey, basically trying to sell David to her. You get what I'm saying? Hey, how would you feel about being with a guy that still lives at home with his parents? What did she do? What did she physically do? She recoiled. She was like,
yeah.
I don't know. Like, that's something that I wouldn't want, because that's not what she put on her paper. On her paper of the person that she wanted, she said somebody independent, someone that can match her lifestyle. She keeps telling us this every episode. We 7 episodes in, so we know what she wants, right? So when she recoiled and like, I don't know if I'm really down for that, it was Dr. Pia who was being a snake oil salesman, basically selling her on an idea that she already said that she didn't want, that she wasn't down for. So don't show me no flashback saying that, well, this is what you said 6 months ago or 6 weeks ago in the process, because initially I said, no, I don't want a man that lives in the house with his mama. So let's start there, right? Because now I'm upset, because now I feel like 7 episodes in, I may have to apologize to Michelle.
If I could interject.
Go ahead, help me.
If I were Michelle,
yeah,
that was really a deal breaker, then she should have said that.
She should have said that, but...
So I'm not allowing her to get away with the fact that she recoiled and then she said it was okay.
I
if
understand
it's really a no, stand on your no.
But here's the thing about it. It's one thing to say that. It's another thing to where I'm so close to... Remember, this is a process where only a few people get chosen, and the expert is literally in my face, right? And then Dr. Pia is saying, you know, he lives in the house and he has plans to maybe move out and things like that. Basically selling it. Like, if this is a no, I won't be on the show. I won't be on Married at First Sight.
Well, then the point is for you to find a partner.
I understand that.
So if the person lives in the basement and you can't do it, then you can't do it.
I understand that. And I ain't trying to argue with nobody.
Okay.
But I'm just trying to show y'all the facts. That when it was presented to her, right? What's the point of giving me a questionnaire of things that I want and then give me a guy that don't meet the questionnaire? Right, okay. And that's what I'm saying. Married at First Sight have such a low success rate because they make it so hard than what it is. It's already hard enough to marry somebody. It's even harder to marry a stranger. Now it's the hardest to marry someone that doesn't match my questionnaire. like now you made it 3 times harder off of something that is already hard. Now I'm getting worked up. Let me slow down. Okay. Right. In this scene, all I seen was 2 experts gaslighting someone the only one who been honest on this show. Michelle is the only one. We don't like it. She's mean and things of that nature. But it will be proven throughout this episode that she's the only one honest. She said, David, I'm not really with it. I'm mentally checked out. And what do you hear? You hear, well, hold on, when you go to work, right? You still go to work when you don't want to. That is very, very different. Apples and oranges past the cow. But what they are doing is they basically telling her to basically trust the process. Trust the process. And I understand she should trust the process because truth be told, I feel like she should have went home. I feel like she should have been X from the show, right? But they basically gaslit her the whole time, basically saying, hey, David, hey, did you even ask why David why David's living at home? Ask him. Well, I'm living at home because financially it makes sense. Of course it financially makes sense for you not to pay bills. I don't care what he says about, especially since we seen that basement, he is not supporting his family. Do not make it seem like, oh, this is a downstairs apartment. It's not a downstairs apartment. It's basically your mama's basement. You get what I'm saying? So he's not even honest in his whole, his whole view of where he lives. You get what I'm saying? And then he's over here talking about like, oh yeah, I have goals to basically move out. You know, I don't need to live there. He got 2 jobs and I'm very stable financially. It just makes sense because student loans and things like that. Listen, adults, we all got a whole bunch of things that it would make sense for us not to pay. It makes sense for me not to pay bills all the time because I would like to keep the money. Yep. Right. But I'm an adult. Yep, right. And for Michelle, she's like, I don't want someone, I'm 38, that I have to basically help them or teach them and things like that. David is someone, if we go be honest about David, that's why I was telling Michelle, if you just be nice, we would be on your side, but that ship already sailed because you've been mean. You get what I'm saying? David is someone that is always about to. I can quit smoking. I haven't stopped. Guess what? I stopped smoking since she said it. Oh yeah, this tattoo I got on my chest, I'm about to get it removed. Oh yeah, I live with my parents. I'm about to move out. And David, what have you done? And when it was time for him to list his goals, he said, as long as there's a roof over my head, is it your roof or is it your parents' roof? So it's a whole bunch of things that David really haven't said a real goal, just things that, let me pull it back a little bit. Being close with your family is a real thing. Mental health is a real thing, right? But those are not the answers that we so-called look for when it comes to actual goals. Now you can get a little superficial. Now, when David was talking about he was in bodybuilding and things like that, he had a goal when he was in bodybuilding. But so far, given the floor, David have not listed a goal for himself outside of having a roof over his head that he doesn't supply for. You get what I'm saying? Caring for his family. Of course he will care for his family. The family supports him. So that's why I'm like, in this moment, I feel like Michelle was being gaslit by Dr. Pia and Pastor Kyle. Basically said, you said you wanted this. No, she didn't, because her first reaction was to recoil. Her first reaction, she damn near passed out. You get what I'm saying? And I'm like, that is not fair. Now we are seeing the true villains of the show, because when given a questionnaire of what she wanted, you chose to sell David to her, Dr. Pia. I saw it. Don't tell me that I didn't see it. I saw it.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go. I'm sorry. I said I want to get y'all out of here in 45 minutes. It may be 55. Okay, let's go.
So MM visits Eachi's spot.
Yeah.
He says that he wants her to set her expectations low.
I don't like that.
She actually goes in. It's neat. There's different instruments. Mm-hmm. She likes the view from his apartment. Mm-hmm. She asks him to play something, and he plays a little something on the bass. And he talks about how he played since after college. He ended up breaking his wrist, and he couldn't play drums for a little bit. And so he started getting booked for bass more. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What is your thoughts on not even his apartment, but what he keeps talking about? Set your expectations low.
I think that this just kind of goes back to Eachi wanting to seem a certain way. Mm-hmm. And I think that he gets nervous when people start seeing just the raw, unfiltered truth regarding him. His apartment to me was fine.
It was nothing wrong with his apartment.
There was nothing wrong with the apartment. I actually thought it had some character to it.
Me too.
And I thought it was cool.
Now, the reason why I'm reacting like this, because me and Blair did not watch the episode together. So the fact that she's saying what I thought, I'm like, I thought it fit him.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I thought it was a cool apartment. It was decent. It was a nice view, spacious enough.
Yeah.
And he had his interest in there, and it seemed like his space. Mm-hmm. But I think that, just like I said, it goes back to him wanting to appear a certain way, and maybe his apartment isn't what he would prefer to appear like.
Yeah.
And I just find it kind of like unattractive, or just kind of like off-putting that you keep downplaying your spot, because you should have pride in what you've been able to accomplish for yourself, even if it's not to whatever standard you live up to in your head. That goes back to that imaginary perfect woman or lifestyle that you think that you should have. And I do feel like, it's fine to have goals of where you want to be and knowing you're not quite there, but don't downplay what you've worked hard for.
And I feel like this was the prelude, right? I listen here. The thing about Akechi is I see him, boy. Like Akechi is he's in my line of sight, and he can't hide from me, right? It's easy for him. What he's doing is he's preluding tearing her down, right? If I can tear me down, and they say, oh yeah, I want to set my expectations low. It's really nothing, especially since he knows what she does. He probably knows how much she make, or probably in the ballpark of what she makes. And he's already setting it up to where, hey, we go see my apartment, then we go see your apartment. And then you could hear how he's basically talking about her apartment in the sense of like, oh man, you got it. Like look at me. And my whole thing is, hey brother, if you really like this girl, which I don't think you do, like this woman, this accomplished woman, do that intimidate you? Like now I feel like he is intimidated by her. He is intimidated by her success and things like that. So now I got to get her to my level. Now I'm sharpening my axe to chop her down and things of that nature. We may not see it in this episode, but we're definitely going to see it, because now he's going to use her success against her. Oh, you may have all that apartment and stuff like that. You may have all this and you may have all that. Things I have not heard MM brag about. At all. No. You get what I'm saying? But he's projecting because he's insecure about a good apartment with a great view. I don't even know. That just lets you know that when someone's insecure, they can't even see their own success and their own light. You get what I'm saying? But he's going to chop her down and basically minimize or backhand compliment her accomplishments when she's not even standing on her own accomplishments. You get what I'm saying? The most thing I heard MM say is, some guys felt like they was intimidated once they saw my apartment, right? That's the most she said. And I ain't gonna hold you. It was a nice apartment. You get what I'm saying? But it was nothing like special, but it was nice for her.
So we move on to Camille seeing Thomas's place. It's a 1-bedroom apartment. If we're talking about basic apartments, Thomas probably had the most basic apartment. It's just necessities, closet, clothes, very simple.
Roof over the head type of guy. Listen, hey David, if you want a roof over your head, then get a Thomas apartment then, because that's basically what Thomas got.
He just has the necessities. It was neat enough. Like it was fine. She wanted to see his style and his swag, his clothing, and she sees his like shoes, his clothes, and she thinks that he moved from probably about a 5 to a 4 when it comes to swag. But she thinks he could use a little bit of razzle dazzle.
The problem with this that I have a problem with is that she was criticizing him. She's still talking about these little passive aggressive shots at his blackness, right? Let me see your swag, right? Mind you, I haven't seen her swag yet in 7 episodes, but let me see your swag. And she was so excited. Oh, you got Jordans. You're black, right? But what did you notice mostly about Thomas' closet?
I really didn't notice much. It was
suits.
Oh, okay.
He's a grown man.
He's
not gonna have on a gold chain, Camille. He's not gonna have on Jordans, and he's not a drug dealer on the block. You get what I'm saying? So like, he's a grown man. You're 32, and I think he's closer to 40, if not 40 already, right? So like, when it comes to him,
he's 42.
He's 10 years older, right? So he has suits. He's not wearing even though he got Jordans, he's not out here wearing skinny jeans with the holes in them and things like that. So I think like Camille, we definitely gonna get into it. Camille have this idea of wanting a boy on the block. That's why she keep using these little words like swag. We don't use swag anymore. Okay. Anything else?
I thought Thomas's apartment was a regular guy's apartment.
Same.
I feel like Camille is taking this a little bit too far. And if she really wants a partner or somebody she could build a life with, I would think at her age she would kind of be past the whole swag type thing. I get the idea that you want to have some type of like attraction to your partner, and I think that Thomas could do better in that lane, but I'll save a lot of my comments for when they get to the meeting with the experts.
Okay.
So we move to Carla and we see Juan's place.
Yeah.
His cousin is going to be staying at his place while Juan is living with Carla. He has a Buddha, some instruments. He has a drywall cart holding up his TV. Carla was not feeling that.
I wasn't feeling it either.
She thinks that it could use a woman's touch. It is a bit cluttered for her taste. She asks if he's open to her moving in some of her things, her moving in after decision day. And he says, yeah, it makes sense. She talks about how in the past she moved in with the ex and there was no room for her because he felt everything he had was perfect as it was.
Yeah.
She wants to have her things there so it feels like home to her. And he thinks that maybe they could just get rid of some of her stuff because his place is pretty decent.
You have any thoughts first or me?
My thoughts is, so Juan didn't hear anything she said.
Not a single word.
He literally is going to be doing what her ex did as far as get rid of your stuff and we're going to keep my hammock and my drywall cart. I was actually turned off by Juan in this scene because it looks like he's not trying to create room for a wife at all. It really seems like he's just here for a fun time, and he's not taking her or her wants into consideration, and it's off-putting.
Yeah.
And I also am a little frustrated with Carla, which I don't know if this is right for me to be frustrated with her.
Help me.
But I hate that she's allowing him to be the one to say yay or nay when it comes to this.
She ain't got no spot.
Right. She doesn't have a spot.
Yeah.
But I just wish that she would have given herself like a plan B.
Yeah.
But she is really positioning herself into a way to where she's going to allow Juan to make those decisions. And I just don't like to see Carla in that position. So
yeah, I don't know why, but when I saw Juan's spot, I don't know why con artist just came in my head. Like I don't know why. The minute I saw that drywall cart with a TV on there, listen here, and maybe it's my fault because like I know what it's like to be an entrepreneur and things of that nature. When he was presenting what he does throughout the day and what he's responsible for, and then I saw his spot, I'm like, it don't match. Like cluttered. Like how are you supposed to be so organized to where you can't even go out to eat with your wife? You can't even go on vacation because you have to pay this person and do this and do that and have a hammock in the middle of the floor, have a couch the way like have a drywall cart. You like how can you be so organized in your business but yet so disorganized in your everyday living? And the answer is, oh, he's not organized in his business. You get what I'm saying? And the reason why I say con artist is, well, let me, because I'm trying not to combine the after party and this, right? Okay. But you kind of triggered it a little bit. The reason why I'm off of Juan is because when you looked in his spot, it's just a bunch of random things, right? Things that he don't even like Buddha for Buddha. He like Buddha because he smile. You get what I'm saying? I think Juan entered this experience as something to challenge himself, not to be married. You get what I'm saying? And Carla, this is what happens when you don't have your own. As Blair said, you put yourself in position for somebody to yay and nay you. And when you say, hey, can I move my stuff in here? He said, well, we can sell your stuff. We already got a hammock. Right. We already got stuff on the wall. The stuff on the wall, unless it was personal pictures of his, it was no art that made me go, wow. Right. You get what I'm saying? The couch is small. The couch is cheap. So it's like Juan is not making room for her. And then as we hear throughout the time, as we go see later on, that he don't even acknowledge her presence to where he planned it out a whole day with David, but did not even acknowledge or forgot that she was there by his words. You get what I'm saying? So when I saw Juan apartment, I was like, oh yeah, you're giving con artist to me. Not so much that he scammed people, but maybe in the way of like, yeah, I am an entrepreneur. I should do this, I do this, but really I don't even know how true and like the drywall cart got me off.
Yeah.
Like I was off completely. You get what I'm saying? I'm like, you still the TV? But it is what it is.
So we get to Allan's spot.
Yeah.
He's got the fur coat he was talking about, and it was like a little bomber jacket. It wasn't all crazy or whatever. Yeah. He had a few stylish hats. He talks about how he redid the kitchen, so it's a little fits a little bit better to how he prefers to cook.
Yeah.
She thought his place was decent. Allan has his own style, but she is starting to embrace her husband.
She was very critical, but did you notice what Allan did when they went to the car?
Yeah, he pulled out the rubber chicken.
Yeah.
For his niece.
Not that.
Oh.
He said, I got a hoopty.
Yeah, it was not a hoopty.
No, it was a Jaguar.
Yeah, it was not a hoopty.
It was a Jaguar coupe, right? What he's doing is he's trying to gain cheap points. Now he's to the point where he feels like he don't do nothing right. He don't look right. Right. So now he's doing what Eachi said out loud. He's now putting himself, he said, like, yeah, I got a hoopty. So when they go outside, she could be like, oh, you don't have a hoopty. I like you more. So he's trying to gain cheap points through Madison, but it's kind of hard to gain points when somebody is choosing not to like you. Right. Even when she was in the apartment, she was like, oh, I thought your apartment would be this, but really it's pretty cool. She couldn't leave without criticizing a hat. A hat.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like
she don't like his style.
No, she don't like him.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So like it's just sad. But you guess what? I think the men need to stand up for themselves on the show. I ain't gonna be over here crying for like these grown men that like these women are beating them up and stuff like that. Hey, defend yourself. Right. You get what I'm saying?
So Eachi visits MM's apartment.
It was a nice apartment.
He immediately thought her place was fancy. We end up meeting her dog Rico. She has a nice wraparound balcony and she's into karaoke.
Yeah.
She has had men be intimidated by her success in the past, and the way that Eachi's reacting is concerning to her a little bit.
Of course.
He says that he feels like he's lacking, he's depressed, and she has a guest bedroom, 4 TVs, just a really well put together place, and it looks like it's in a nice complex as well.
And that's what I'm saying. Like I see Eachi. He's in my line of sight. Right. These backhand compliments or these like patting yourself on the back, like woe is me, like, oh, you have 4 TVs, I only have 2, right? But when someone's really confident in their own success, when they are in their own race, such as this channel, we are in our own race. I'm not looking at these other reviewers' channels. I'm not looking at nobody else's channel. I'm trying to get us the 4th thou wow. You get what I'm saying? And I hope y'all can help us get the 4th thou wow, right? But if he really liked her and if he really respected her, he'd be like, you know what, Blair? This is a beautiful apartment.
Yeah, you've done well for
Congratulations.
yourself.
Yeah. Like I like this for you. This is dope.
Yeah,
you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But my thing is, it's hard to compliment someone you don't like. You get what I'm saying? Because what he did was, I'm going to set my expectations low on my apartment because I know personally my apartment is dope. And guess what? I want her to basically compliment my apartment. So when she walks in, she'd be like, this is not a bad apartment. This is dope. You got a Peloton in the bedroom. You got bass guitars. You got all these things. I see. You got a nice view. I see you, Eachi. You can't fool me with those 38 glasses you have.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I was definitely turned off by his response at her pleas, by him kind of like downplaying himself instead of, I mean, he was also big up in her space and saying how great it was.
Yeah, but it was cheap.
But it wasn't like, wow, like, I'm impressed by you. Like, this has made me more attracted to you because I could tell you're a hard worker. I could tell that you keep your space neat. And this is what I would like in a partner. Like, how you've been able to curate this type of space. I can see you curating a home for us. Yeah. Like, it wasn't even like that. It was just kind of like, well, you got it going on and I just don't. And it's just like, well, y'all are together. So it's not you got it and I don't. It's okay, cool. How can we bring this together? I like what you've done with your spot. You know?
And I don't mean to big up myself, but let me big up myself just a little bit because I said it a couple episodes ago. If y'all watched it, I said one part of intimacy is reaffirming. Yeah. Right. If you've been in a relationship, me and Blair have been together for over 7 years. Right. I can speak Blair. Right. She can speak Chris. Right. So he's not even catching on to the alley oops that MM is giving him. Right. I feel like 7 episodes in, I can speak MM, right? Because I see MM in certain parts of like other people I've been with. If she said it out her mouth before they got into that apartment or while they was in there, she said, men that I have talked to has been intimidated by my success. That was an alley-oop for you to reaffirm her. That was an alley-oop for
I don't think she said it to him. It was in the...
I don't know, man. Like, well, put it like this. If it was in the confessional, I take it back. But I feel like the vibe that he was giving, he could have reaffirmed her. Yeah. He could have talked about like, you know what? This is really nice. Like, this is really beautiful, and keep it at that. Not so much of like, oh my goodness, I need to step it up. I'm poor. It's like, No, it's cheap. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if she did say that out loud, he missed a great time to build on the intimacy that they say they have, which I know they don't, and which Pastor Cal point out that they don't have, to basically grow and progress their marriage.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
So Michelle ended up going to her apartment last night. She
Crazy.
wanted some time to self-reflect and to come back more positive.
I was laughing at that. Because after that big scene with Pastor Cal and Dr. P and telling her, you know what, don't give up, give into the process and things like that. She said, I'm going home.
Right.
That's what I'm going to do.
He actually thought it was fine that she took some space, and he tells her that he would like to do more things together when they have time.
Yeah.
And she actually came up with a list of date ideas they could do, going to a concert, get ice cream, go to a cooking class. He is down for all of those, and he's happy that she took the time to come up with the ideas.
Here's the thing. On the surface, you can be like, hey, look, Michelle, you're actually trying now. Kudos to you. But I'm not doing that, because every time you hear her say things, she always say, I have to give grace to myself. I have to not cheat myself out the experience. So even though she's doing things with David, it's kind of weird. It's not for them.
It's to challenge herself.
It's to challenge herself, to get herself out of her head.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Agreed. Dr. Pepper and Pastor Cal meet with Camille and Thomas.
Yeah.
They share core values, but they were raised in different environments. He was raised around mostly white people, and she grew up around diversity.
Yeah.
They do kiss and hold hands, and he wants to lean into that a little bit more.
Yeah.
What she is missing is the swag factor.
She keeps saying swag.
And he could chill out on some of the jokes. Apparently, he said a joke about flossing and blood flying everywhere, and that turned her off. He didn't think it was an intimate moment, so he didn't think it was that big of a deal. And Camille says it's just an all the way around type of thing. Thomas says that he tends to joke to ease uncomfortable situations, and maybe that's something he could work on. Pastor Cal asked how she would like for him to dress. She likes what he's wearing, but they could try some different things. Yeah. Cal says we could get into thinking that we don't want someone to change, but in a marriage, we change each other and influence each other. He also needs to tell her things that he would like her to change as well, for him to take some initiative. Thomas would like her to be open with him in the moment, and if something bothers her, just say it in the moment so he can fix it.
Yeah. You said you wanted to go into detail once they met with Pastor Kyle and things like that.
Yeah. I think that Camille, which I've said before, I think she's just stuck in a younger person's dating mindset.
Yeah.
When it comes to finding attraction in a partner, I think that can change as you get older. I think that swag becomes a little bit less of a factor when you've dated all these swaggy people who don't follow through on their word, or who aren't reliable, or who don't want to get married, and all they have is swag. So I think that Camille is recognizing that they share the same core values, and those are the things that makes her want to stay in and work on the relationship. But she wants to have some of that natural attraction to Thomas. But honestly, in this process, you either have it or you don't. And if she doesn't have it, then it's something that you need to work and build on. And I think that she could find different things attractive about him when it comes to him doing the rose petals and being thoughtful of her in that type of way. Like, there are things that she could grow attraction when it comes to him, and kind of get out of her old mindset of the type of guy that would woo her but not actually want to be committed to her. So that's the main thing. And then when it comes to Thomas, I think that I don't even think there's anything that he would change about Camille. I know Pastor Cal says, be honest about her, about things you would like her to say. I think he's fine with the way that she is. I think he would wish she would stop bringing up swag, because it is an uncomfortable conversation, because he was adopted. He didn't grow up around a lot of black people, and he grew up feeling like he wasn't necessarily black enough. And it's a sore spot for him, but she continues to say that that is the pressing issue. That's the pressing point. And I get saying it one time, but after you say it once, he is who he is. Try to find other things that you like about him at this point. So.
I love what Thomas said on the after party. Make sure y'all tune in with that with us. I agree with everything you said. First of all, I'm sorry, white people, y'all about to catch a stray. Camille dressed like a white woman. And she's too young to be dressing like that. But I don't see him talking about you need some swag, but she definitely does. And then when it came down to specifics of like, hey, what would you change about him? Like what would you want him to wear? She couldn't even say it.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So that's why I'm like, don't even give people this type of power, because when they have the power, when it was time for her to speak up and actually say what she would want physically when it comes to his appearance, she couldn't even list it. You get what I'm saying? Her whole thing is, you're not black enough.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with the Jordans. It has nothing to do with his swag or things of that nature. Here's the thing about it. I think I've come to the conclusion 7 episodes and Camille is just dusty. And Dusty is not something that Dusty is a state of being.
Yeah, state of mind.
Yeah, it's a state of mind. She's stuck there. She's just a dusty person, right? Not based off of her appearance. I think she's attractive, but the fact that she can't even see, like, basically she got such a log in her eye. She's trying to get the splinter out of somebody else's eye, right? And she's over here criticizing something about flossing, and he over here made a little joke about it. And you might have found that disgusting. I found disgusting asking me about poop. So first of all, don't try to criticize something about me being corny when you're corny too.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, especially when she have a conversation with her sister, the reason why she's stuck in such a young mindset, because her reference is always Thomas went to a high school to where it was majority white. This man 40-something years old.
Right.
This man 40, he been to college, he been through life.
He's dated.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He has a black family when it comes to his brother, his niece, and nephew. So she keeps referring back to high school as if like that matters, but it matters to her because she's dusty and she's young-minded, and she keeps questioning his blackness. And I give you a little preview of the after party. Thomas said out his mouth, he said it's offensive. Yeah. Because black people don't only come in one shade. They come in many shades and many forms and things like that. And for her to try to pigeonhole him into Jordans and ripped jeans and things of that nature and a gold chain and things like that, it is dusty.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say. I wish I had my dashiki, but I don't have my dashiki with me today.
All right. We've got Pastor Cal, Dr. Pepper visiting Allan and Madison. Yeah. Madison thinks that things have been good since they've been back from vacation. Yeah. Allan thought the wedding was a high point, but reality is starting to kick in.
Yeah.
The romantic and physical chemistry is hard for Madison. She doesn't want him to change who he is, but trying to figure out what they need to change to be better for each other.
Yeah.
Allan thinks that there is adaptation when it comes into a marriage. They have to create an S. He loves the person she is, but he's always going to be a little bit eccentric.
Okay.
Cal tells him that it's okay to change if it benefits the us. Allan says that he has been working out more. He does feel better. And Madison appreciates that he receives what she says and that he's taking action on her requests.
I got one thing to say. That's why when you said this scene, it just jogged my memory. She said something that was a flat out lie. She said that I was so excited to get back to the apartments to our first night.
Yeah.
She said that to Pastor Cal. If y'all remember that. She said, like, I couldn't wait for our first night and things like that. What did she do on the first night?
She left.
She wasn't even there the first night.
Right.
So for her to put on this facade that she was happy to start this experience in the apartments when the first night she wasn't even in the apartment. She came back the next morning. It's like you're lying. And now you keep listening to these things. Basically, she's not talking to Pastor Cal. She's talking to Allan, right? So she listened to these things, trying to find things that basically he have to work on. They're going to carry it in front of him. But truth be told, she don't like that man. She would never like that man. And I think she was with another man the night of their first night at the apartment. That's my opinion.
Yeah. I think that Madison, I feel like I'm going to sound like a hypocrite, low-key. I wish she was a little bit more honest, leading the way of Michelle. Not quite Michelle, but leading that way, because she is making it seem like everything is okay.
Yeah.
And that there are just little things he could do to improve in order for her to really get there with him. But I think she's further away from that point than she likes to admit.
That's fair.
So I also feel like Allan needs to hold her a little bit more accountable on the ways that she could do better. I think that he just kind of lets her get away with her request for him and him trying to win her affection instead of him saying that, look, you weren't here. That's an issue for me.
Yes.
We actually need to plan a date, something to connect us.
Yes.
Because we're not in a good space right now. As much as you say it's easy being around me, we're not connecting the way we need to be.
You haven't been around me.
Yeah.
You're right.
David sees Michelle's apartment. She has a cat. She has a clean apartment. She also has a dog who's with her sister right now. She doesn't want to relocate her pets until she feels a little bit more comfortable in the space with David.
Yeah.
David talks about how his space is definitely more cluttered, but it's similar in the type that, you know, it's simple, easy, simple living type of thing.
Here he go lying again.
She did not like that he was saying that her place was simple because she worked very hard for everything that she has.
Hey, Michelle, stop nitpicking at him.
Yeah.
Right? I don't think he meant simple and basic as an insult. You get what I'm saying? I think, like, this may sound weird. I think he really walked into the apartment like, oh, this is kind of like my apartment.
I don't know how he could think that.
I don't know how he, right? So
maybe he's a little delusional.
And that's why he referenced his apartment. He said, like, yeah, it's kind of like mine, just let's color it. And my thing is, no, like her apartment, truth be told, I'm not going to criticize her apartment. I think her apartment is okay. I think her apartment is okay for her. Meaning, like, it's one person, right? It's clean. Things are organized and things like that. Even her closet is organized. I'm not going to beat up her apartment because it is basic and it is simple. It's for her. You get what I'm saying? What is your thoughts about her apartment?
I think what he meant by basic and simple is just like, it's just a girl's apartment.
Oh, okay.
Like, it's nothing that stands out. It's
that
nothing that really, like, catches your attention, or is it super cultured in any type of way. It's just a basic girl apartment, a girl who has a cat and a dog. Like, it's just regular to him.
Yeah.
And I felt the same way. I'm just like, it's cute. And I could see, like, yes, you worked hard for your space and the things that you have.
But you ain't working any harder than anybody else who got their own spot.
Exactly. But it's just a regular adult girl apartment. Like, I think that's really what he meant by that. But I don't know why he would throw himself in as a comparison.
I really don't know. He said, oh, it's kind of like mine, but let's clutter it. I'm like, no, brother. It's not at all.
So Pastor Cal and Dr. Pepper meet with Eachi and MM.
This is also an important scene. An important scene that, like, I wrote down in my mental.
It's been a lot for them just to learn about each other.
Yeah.
They haven't really touched on future goals for their marriage, just individual goals.
Yeah.
Cal says that they do need to be talking about finances and children and the future. And Ben wants to know more about what he wants from his wife and what he wants for the future.
Yeah.
Pastor Cal says, well, you guys should start talking about how you guys see your future together. And Dr. Pia asks, what do they want to see in each other? And Eachi, being the poet that he is, that he wants to see the art in her.
Okay.
He wants to see her free flowing. She's sometimes very mechanical. He'll go to bed at 9:00. She's kind of like cleaning up, putting the house back together. And he wants her to just let things be and smell the roses.
How come you're not cleaning the apartment with her?
Cal asks if they've had much physical touch, and they have held hands. They are sharing the bed. He, of course, goes to bed at 9, wakes up at 5, and he understands as a grown man that rest is important.
Okay.
And Pastor Cal says, as a grown married man, that there should be some compromise there. Maybe you could go to bed at 10, and there could be some activity between 9 and 10.
Yeah.
Dr. Pepper says that they need to nurture the erotic and sexual attraction.
Okay, Dr. Pepper, we know why you're here for.
Yes.
Okay. Well, was there anything you picked up from this scene? Because I'm going to go like on a little rant.
Yeah, I felt like Eachi was starting the criticism of MM when it comes to her not smelling the roses or being mechanical.
You're not free flowing.
Right. I think that MM, the way that she is has served her in her life to get to where she's at. And I think that it is a positive and not a negative that she is probably maybe the more organized partner.
Somebody got to do it.
And I feel like he should be appreciating their differences instead of saying that he wants to see the art in her.
Yeah.
I would hope that as he's getting to know her, that he's not picking apart the things that she should be instead of actually appreciating her and allowing her to be the person that she is.
Yeah.
I do agree that, when it comes into marriage, you do have to kind of change for each other, and there are different things that you guys can kind of tweak and everything like that. And maybe MM does have some ways to where maybe, hey, if the dishes are in the sink, just chill out so we can watch a movie together.
But he going to sleep.
Yeah, but the thing is, you're going to sleep. You're not even asking her to spend time with you. So you just don't want her to be doing what she be doing.
You preaching, boy.
And then when it comes to them talking about his bedtime and how he is very structured when it comes to that, I think that is, in a way, it could be an excuse for him not to explore that attraction. I go to bed at 9, so ain't no hanky-panky going on. So I don't know if that is an excuse or if that is really just how rigid he is, but maybe you need to be a little more free-flowing the way that you say she needs to
Come
be.
on, Blair. Because that's very mechanical right there.
That does seem very mechanical.
Yeah, very mechanical. This scene was so funny to me. This is when I was on the expert side. Only this one time. I know they are the true villains of the show, but this is the one time. Every woman has lied on this show except Michelle. And that's crazy.
Okay.
Carla lied. Madison definitely lied. Camille lying, right? And MM lied. What is MM lied? Our intimacy is A1. We at the climax, at the peak of our intimacy and things like that. When she's talking to... See, the thing about Eachi and MM, they have a performative relationship.
Yeah.
They like to perform for an audience. You know, touch only when people watching. Say pet names when only people there. You get what I'm saying? But she was like, remember episodes ago when she was talking to the women at the honeymoon, she was like, oh yeah, we don't have to kiss because our intimacy is A1. I'm paraphrasing, but that's what she was saying. And Pastor Cal had to ask them, do y'all hold hands? And they over there saying like, oh yeah. He said, do y'all sleep in the same bed? Like, yeah. Basically making him seem like, where are these questions coming from? Like, of course we doing that. But meanwhile, their body language, they basically sound like this.
Yep.
Right? And what did he say specifically in this scene? He said, we have people that report to us what goes on in y'all relationship. Meaning like not just them specifically, but in every relationship. So we giving y'all the opportunity to be honest with us. But as I said last episode, they're not intimate. They don't touch. They are very performative. I'll put that more on the catchy, right? And it's like, you can say that y'all do all these things, but it's coming out of you. You get what I'm saying? It's in you, not on you, as I would say. So them sitting there, and one thing that he said, oh, this just came back to memory, because his words doesn't meet his actions, and I know he don't like her because Pastor Cal asked specifically, what was your thought when you first saw her coming down the aisle? He was like, damn, she bad. Well, if she's so bad, why don't you want to touch her? Why not you want to spend more time with her and things like that? Why are you sitting on the other couch, basically, when y'all sitting next to each other? So it's like you don't give off the whole my wife is bad type of vibe.
Especially with it being as fresh as it is. You know, I feel like as you get comfortable with your partner, like you do like just kind of are around each other. But for it being so fresh and so new, like you would expect for them to show that they're excited about being around each other. And she
have
if they're what they're saying is true.
And what he's saying is true.
Yeah.
Because she has given him green light on green light on green light on to explore her and things of that nature. But if you're with a baddie and you really like this baddie, I'm not saying that you have to be like Dr. Pepper and say, oh, be like have sex. But you're not even touching her. Your hand is not even behind her chair. Your hand's not even on her leg. Like you're just there. And then you're saying I go to bed at 9 o'clock every night. That already lets me know that she don't go to bed at 9 o'clock every night. You get what I'm saying? So you don't even want to like be up with a chance of that y'all do something. You get what I'm saying? So that's why I'm like, I see you, bruh.
So Camille meets up with her sister.
Yeah.
She's telling her sister that he's a sweet guy. He feels safe. They have some surface level differences when it comes to culturally, to the point where she feels like she's in an interracial relationship.
So disrespectful.
She talks about how it shapes the way, like the bars he wants to go to, the places he wants to go to. And she feels like it's more of a confidence or tapping into his smoother side. It makes the chemistry or relatability a bit difficult. The sister says, you know, one of the hangups of your dating life was not speaking about the things that bothers you, so it's good that you're actually speaking up now. Thomas does appreciate her honesty, but they are all as a family going to get together for a pool party, so they're going to hope to see a different side of him.
And this is what I'm talking about. If it is an interracial relationship, she's the white person, because I haven't heard Thomas criticize her race at all. You get what I'm saying? And here's my problem with the women on this show. And Camille is included. Maybe MM is not included in this. But Camille is definitely included in this. When these guys are saying, be honest with me, right? They are taking that as liberty to tear them down, right? Besides actually saying things and doing things that will benefit the relationship. So she's using that freedom and that liberty to basically go and have a meeting with her sister and to say on national television in front of hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people that I feel like I'm in an interracial relationship with this black man.
Yeah.
You are wild. And that's what I'm saying. Thomas said on the after party, like, that's disrespectful. Like now we are outside the realms of you just hurting my feelings. Now you're just being disrespectful now it's rude.
Yeah. And that's why I say that I think Camille is kind of like a little bit closed-minded and young-minded when it comes to dating a black man who's different than the type of black man that she's used to. And just like how I say, like, a lot of these people need to learn their partner and appreciate who they are because they really don't know who they are. Yeah. So I think that Camille, instead of really learning and appreciating all of his qualities, she is getting stuck on what she is used to versus what might actually be good for her.
Yeah. And just to be 100% transparent, Camille, you're 32 on Married at First Sight. They don't want you. They didn't want you. You get what I'm saying? You were so dusty in your mindset and your state of being that you had to get somebody else to pick your husband, right? So don't come on here as a black woman because I'm not going. I see some people in the comments saying that she ain't black. No, we ain't doing that. You get what I'm saying? Don't come on here as a black woman and challenge somebody else's blackness.
Yeah.
When y'all look alike. You get what I'm saying?
And act alike.
That's what I'm saying. You still haven't put on one good fit yet. Okay. But yeah, he ain't over here talking about you dressed like an old white woman. No. Like my whole thing is when it comes to clothes and that's why I'm like, she's not talking about clothes because clothes is easily fixable. I just take you shopping. You get what I'm saying? But she's talking about his state of being of you're not blacker than me. And I feel like I'm dating a white man. Stop it. Get off my TV screen. You get what I'm saying?
So Michelle goes to see David's space. David says that he lives a simple life just like you. Okay. You know, your apartment's kind of basic. They enter through the side door.
Oh my goodness.
It is tight and cluttered.
Yeah.
We see his bedroom and then there's a laundry room that the parents have to access because that's the only laundry room in the home. And he also has a keg. We've got a little, it looks like a kitchenette and a table that's really tight up against the wall. He says that he barely eats at the table.
We know because you eat upstairs with mommy and daddy.
Yeah. And Michelle asked him, where would you hang out when you would bring dates? And he said, well, I would go out with them and if anything, bring them back to the bedroom. Michelle thinks that it's a very college frat boy vibe and it is what she expected. And it is his parents' basement. David says, you don't, after seeing this, you don't really consider this maybe like a studio apartment or you don't see how this really is my own space. And like, if my parents weren't upstairs, you couldn't see how it would be like my own type of spot. And Michelle says, random people doing their laundry in your space.
Oh, she got jokes now.
That would be weird. My thoughts about David's living space. David, it's funny because David, I feel like, was trying to sell a fantasy, but nobody was buying the fantasy.
No.
Like, I think that there definitely is a way to have a basement apartment that kind of looks like an actual apartment.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys saw Love is Blind.
Yes, I was going to reference that.
Yeah, but Nick, when it came to his space in the basement,
his space was better.
It actually looked like a basement apartment. There was a bedroom, like a living area. Even, he did say he had a pool table. The pool table was tucked away somewhere.
Yeah.
But it still looked like a living space for somebody who didn't have to go upstairs to do things or somebody coming downstairs to do stuff. Yeah. David's place, even if you think about like basement apartments, like city living or anything like that, like there's a certain type of layout for that as well. Yeah. It looked like the bedroom that David had could have been storage.
Yes.
And honestly, the whole basement could have been storage because it really wasn't a living space in the basement. Yeah. I think that Michelle reacted better than expected.
I thought she was going to pass out. I ain't going to hold you.
I thought she was going to start crying and tell them, take me home.
Yeah.
But she responded a lot better. But I think she did make her point when she said, you're trying to sell me on this idea that this is a basement apartment, but you got your parents coming down here doing your laundry, doing their laundry. this is not what you try to claim it to be. Like,
yeah. And now I'm mad because I'm gonna have to apologize to like Michelle.
Oh gosh.
Right. And like, listen here. We all as a community, I'm not just gonna say us, Blair, y'all viewers, we may have to apologize to Michelle because he said, hey, is this better than what you expected? Or like is this what you expected? She said, no, it's exactly what I expected.
Yeah.
You live with your mama. First of all, listen to what David said while they was walking to the door, right? What did he say? He said, this probably be my first time using this door because I never used this door. If this is the way to your apartment, why don't you use that side door?
Right.
Because he go through his mama door.
Yeah.
And be chilling upstairs and eat what they got upstairs and chill upstairs.
Because I'm like, I know he don't confine himself to his basement.
Not at all.
Like, I do not believe
he go down there to sleep.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And that's it, right? Here's the thing. And this is why I blame the experts. You saw the video, the flashback of where Dr. Pierre was in what's her name, Michelle's house and things like that, basically telling her about hey, will you be cool with a guy that lives in the basement, things like that. I think the experts came to David's house and they saw how David lives and they still sold David to Michelle, knowing that Michelle would not be cool with that.
Yeah.
Right? Everything in that basement was basically, we just go put a bed down here, but this is our storage unit, basically. Yeah. You can look at his bed and you can tell by the covers he ain't no grown man. You get what I'm saying? I don't know if he even have covers on the bed. I know it was a comforter, but you could tell that's the comforter that he grew up with. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Nothing about him said grown. I heard somebody say through other reviews and stuff like that even the place that he lived before, his father owned that and they had to shut it down for COVID. So
the bar he talks about.
So he never lived on his own. He always lived under the provision of his father. So he's always selling a dream. He always talking about, I heard Michelle say things like, there's pictures of his family and things like that. No. Those are just pictures that he grew up. Those are his baby pictures. These are not intentional pictures.
In his parents' house.
Keep
in the basement.
That they keep in the basement.
Right.
So there's nothing independent about David, but I swear that Michelle asked for independent. There's nothing about him that she can learn from. That David is a child. He's a man child. And at the end of the day, Michelle is the only one on this show, unfortunately, that has been saying, this bothers me. And now that she actually seen it, she sent it, it's like, oh, now I'm really about to crash out. Because now you're telling me, now everything that I was feeling in my gut, everything I was thinking in my head, now I actually seen it. You live like a child.
Yeah. Only thing is, I'm not going to apologize to Michelle because she was being an a-hole.
Listen, I get it.
So you could definitely not be into the man and still be decent to him.
Yeah, I don't know, though.
Yeah, but
I don't know.
Yeah, but no, I was not feeling the basement apartment.
No, stop saying basement apartment. like I'm tired of it. It's a house with a basement that they allow their son to live in.
Right.
Or put it like this, maybe not. And I want to do another video on this. Maybe not apologize to Michelle because I'm with you. I really don't like apologizing either. But I think at the end she would be proven right. And I'm like, that is wild. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Allan brings his dog Luffy over.
Yeah.
He is definitely in the puppy stage. Mm-hmm. He's busy. He's humping everything, tearing stuff apart. Allan says, it's been comfortable living with Madison. Yeah. He ended up cooking dinner. She thought it was great. They get into religion, mm-hmm. and she didn't really grow up religious, but her parents would take her to church on the holidays.
Yeah, I think she got baptized, she said.
And she did get baptized.
Mm-hmm.
Allan's mom is religious, and he went to Catholic school up to 2nd grade.
Yeah.
They both believe in a higher power, but not really structured religion.
Mm-hmm.
She does not want to raise her kids with a certain religion, but Allan asked if he wanted to baptize the child, how would she feel about that?
Yeah.
And she said she would be cool with that, but
mm-hmm.
she just wants the children to have the freedom to make up their own mind about what they want to believe in.
Okay.
Allan does say that he would not put them in a religious school, but probably take them to church on holidays.
Okay.
During the conversation, Luffy is tearing up the apartment, digging on the couch, and Madison, she makes just a little comment like, "Are we ever going to have a conversation if Luffy's here?" And yeah.
Yeah. Only thing I have to say is this is a video resume for Allan.
Uh-huh.
I think a lot of women go like him once his marriage is over with Madison. Yeah. And things like that. He got a nice car, he got a nice spot, and he cooks. She even said, "I don't think I could cook like this." So for someone to have all these goals that he have to reach and things that he have to basically dangle and carry in front of him, you can't even cook?
Yeah.
Craziness. The only thing that was chicken breast and vegetables, and you can't even cook that good?
Okay.
So like I have nothing for Madison and Allan. We already know about them. We already know what she's going to do and things of that nature.
Yeah, my thing is, I think Allan's a little bit more religious than he likes to put on. I think that he was kind of testing the waters with her, but if you have an intention of getting your child baptized, I think that it holds a little more weight to you and your family than you're necessarily putting out there. Yeah. And that's really my only critique of Allan, is just I wish he was a little bit bolder
and suppressing himself.
And instead of suppressing himself to be liked by Madison.
That's
because
true.
Honestly, it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
Well, Pastor Cal and Dr. Pepper visit Juan and Carla.
Yeah.
Carla finds it challenging because Juan is not very mindful of her.
True.
He doesn't consider her wants, her needs, because he is so engulfed in the fun.
True.
The example they give is when he was hanging out with David and said he forgot about her. And Juan said that he was just in a place of ecstasy that the world ceased around him.
What are you talking about?
Carla says that he poured so much time into David and she would have enjoyed that time to get to know him. Mm-hmm. Dr. Pepper tells Juan that Carla needs to be your primary focus, especially because you guys are so new into this relationship. His only issue with her is that she could be passive aggressive, and he wishes they could just talk about their issues instead of her being passive aggressive about it. And Dr. Pepper explains that that is withholding, and that is a weapon. Carla talks about in the past she hasn't felt safe to express herself, so she is just trying to apply the ways that she has worked on herself into this relationship.
Okay.
Pastor Cal recommends that they try to relax, take the pressure off, and he does know that they have pulled back when it comes to physicality. Juan said that he has, and Carla did once she noticed that he pulled back.
Yeah.
He feels that physicality has clouded his judgment in the past, so he doesn't want to make that same mistake.
Yeah.
And Dr. Pepper recommends that they give acts of affection and to say what you need from each other.
Yeah.
So they end up holding hands, and Juan wants more tolerance and communication, less assumptions. Carla wants him to be more mindful, so she feels the stability and security from him.
I'm 100% off Juan. When I say 100%, 101% actually.
Yeah.
Number one, I like to say, I told y'all so.
Yeah.
Last episode, I think even including my wife, that like maybe he didn't mean what he said. He meant what he said, and he meant to do what he did. You get what I'm saying? Playing a whole spa day, playing a whole day out with Carla to basically provoke her to anger.
With David.
With David, thank you. To provoke Carla with anger, like, oh, I forgot about you. No. And then when it was his fault, because I do not believe that it takes two people to be wrong at an issue. Sometimes it's okay that I'm wrong by myself and I need to apologize to Blair. It's okay for Blair to be wrong by herself and to apologize to me in a relationship. He's over here saying, well, Carla be passive aggressive. No, you was passive aggressive first, right? And sometimes, and I don't know if this is true, so I'm going to give myself a little bail to get out of jail. Sometimes he says, I don't want her to assume. I want her to come to me with it and not be passive aggressive. No, because I don't want to do that, because all you going to do is gaslight me. And I don't want to be in no gaslight battle because I'm not an arsonist. Right. You get what I'm saying? So how about you be mindful and not provoke me, and basically on our honeymoon, not plan a whole day for a stranger you just met, and actually be mindful and be in this relationship, and then try to put the onus on me of like, well, if it bothered you, tell me that it bothered you. I did, but you kept poking at me, and now you're trying to gaslight me. So sometimes it may be withholding. I understand that, but sometimes people just choose not to go and be confrontational because they know that person is just gonna gaslight them. She was basically. Let's take confrontational out of it, right? She told him in the apartment, hey, maybe I can bring my stuff in here, and that like, since we're gonna be living together. And this man told her verbatim, we can sell your stuff because it's not needed. Yep. So why would she bring her grievances to him when he's willing to just throw her stuff out? He's gonna throw her feelings out. He should go throw her opinions out and things like that. I think Juan is a con artist on the show when it comes to being a good husband. And I think all this, like, don't assume, don't be passive aggressive, is all for fake. I think he is a big provoker.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
For me, I think that they're too early in the relationship for her to not try that approach.
That's true.
I think that she could stand to broach more issues to him to see how he responds.
Yeah.
Instead of her first reaction to go passive aggressive.
That is true.
I do think that he handled it very poorly when she talked about bringing her stuff in, and he said, well, we just gonna get rid of your stuff, even though she said it was a sore spot for her because of that's how exes did her in the past.
That's literally what she said.
And I could see somebody closing up after that, but if they want to give this a concerted effort, I think it's worth having the conversation of, hey, what you just said is literally what my exes did to me.
That is true, Blair.
So I need you to rework that statement and give him the space to see if he will do better. I feel like there's no negative in communication.
Okay.
I think that if enough times you bring an issue to him and he gaslights or he doesn't want to take accountability for it, then that's when you know it's time to get out the relationship. Yeah. But don't be in the relationship and stop communicating.
Yeah.
So
no, you're right, 100%. Maybe because I feel that way because I'm like, I already see where it's going, but I'm not the one in the relationship.
Right.
So Carla need to prove her case, basically. Keep doing the right thing so she can have a case and be like, I done this, and he has shut me down. You're right.
And Juan does need to be mindful of her. I know that you think he's a big provoker. I think that Juan is very self-centered.
Okay.
And I think that he really is somebody who is just into his work, into his life, into whatever he's doing in the moment. And everything else really does fall to the wayside. Yeah. And I think that's why when we've seen some of these after party episodes of Keisha challenging him to think of ways that he could open up his life to a wife, he literally hasn't thought about it.
Nope.
And to me, that just means that he's not thinking about anybody but himself, and that's fine in your singleness, but you do have to have a mind shift change when it comes to relationship. And I think that he needs to work on that and make a concerted effort to do that. So
I can't say it any better. You said it perfectly, Blair.
All right. And that's all we got.
Anything else? I'm a liar. I try to get us out of here in 45 minutes. It's an hour.
Was a lot to talk about.
It's an hour and 10 minutes because the show is 2 hours long, including another hour of after party. Yeah. So I did my best. Okay. Subscribe. We need that. I'm trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Thank to everybody who's been watching. Comment. We love to hear your comments. This is now the part where y'all get to be part of the show, and I like to hear what y'all got to say. Leave a like. And share the video. Share it. Let the people know what y'all watching and things like that. Anything else?
That's it.
Y'all be good.
Bye-bye.